Friendship. Everyone wants it. Hopefully everyone has it. And I want you to think of your best friend, the person that you share adventures with, the person that you share so many laughs with. Imagine that best friend taken from you in a moment of terror and agony. How far would you go to see that person again? Would you retake control of your life and strive to be a better person? Or would you travel across the vast reaches and the dangerous reaches of the time stream to save your best friend's life? If you wouldn't or couldn't do these things, then your friendship has nothing on the incredible bond that both Ted and Michael, the Blue Beetle, and Booster Gold share in the DC universe. Welcome everybody to a very special edition of Rafa's Toy Studio, the place where I get to talk about those toys that everyone should check out. And today I get to share two of my favorite action figures in my collection. I'm talking about Blue Beetle, Booster Gold. Blue and Gold Adventures. Two best friends fighting to make the world a safer place. And if they get rich while sharing some comedic relief along the way, then hey, whoever said that saving the world was all doom and gloom? For sure, not these two guys. Just look at them. Arguably, you can say that I've had the most fun with out of all my action figures, specifically with these two. I purchased them off of Amazon, in eBay, and ever since then, it's been nothing but countless fun and exciting adventures. Specifically on my Tumblr, I love taking pictures with these guys and creating all kinds of stories because if you're not familiar with these two characters, you're about to be. I'm about to showcase and share my Mattel's DC Universe Classics, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold action figures. So in DC Comics, there's a lot of different friendships. You have Hal and Barry, you have Superman and Batman, you have Tim Drake and Connor of Superboy. You have all kinds of different, bromances. I mean, some would even argue Hal and Sinestro. But there is no bromance, no friendship, no partnership more powerful, more poignant, more fun, more exciting than what we have here, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. These are two guys that kind of were, I think, soulmates in the sense that they were able to come together in the Justice League during International and kind of they became the butt of many jokes. They realized that saving the world sometimes was more than just that. They were that comedic relief. They pulled pranks. They did good things and bad things. They were all about getting rich schemes, but they did it with a smile, and they were considered the goofs, and also they kind of tarnished the good name of the Justice League for a while. But that never stopped them because both of these guys are good-hearted, and they really want the best for everyone. And that kind of resonated with me specifically because both of these characters, whether you're reading them in their own adventures, Blue and Gold, whether you're just reading Booster's solo adventures, whether you're reading, his adventures in 52, or even just Justice League International. Together, they're fantastic. Separately, they're great. They're both two pretty cool characters that utilize different mechanics to showcase their humanity. But together, they're the best. Together, they showcase that friendship. And that's kind of what the theme is about in this specific episode. It's great to have one of these action figures, but I needed to buy both of them because when they are a set, they do much more. And I'm very excited to share these with you. So first of all, I got Mattel's DC Universe Classics Blue Beetle action figure. This Blue Beetle, like I said, is part of the DC Universe Classics figures, which are really sweet because unlike the other DC collectibles that would later come out, these toys are a little bit smaller at about 6 inches, but their movability is far superior than to the other toys. I mean, specifically looking at this is kind of the master of articulation. We have, ball shoulders, specifically being able to move in almost every single degree, right? We have different areas such as the tilt joint, specifically at the waist, and it cuts at the waist specifically, which is also really cool. It has hip joints that allow for completely free movement. I mean, just any way that you want to move this action figure, you can see it. He's got his foot tattoo right there. Also, specifically in the details in the butt. But it's a very, very articulate toy. And so part of what makes these action figures so cool is the fact that they can move a lot. And, you can put them in all of the ridiculous poses that you want them to, whether they're singing or whether they're ready to just kind of get into the action and fight somebody. Specifically, with Blue Beetle here, I really enjoy this figure because the yellow in the goggles is a little faded, but you can still see his eyes, and I think that's very important. He also comes with different accessories. Specifically here, he has his BB gun, his Blue Beetle gun. even though it looks like a giant hairdryer, but still, it gets the job done. He's ready to go fight bad guys. And I think that's the important piece. I really enjoy this action figure because, again, the detail is really good. The articulation is there. It looks just like the character Ted Kord, who happens to be the second Blue Beetle, mentored by the original. And this character doesn't get a lot of love, but even though he has a completely genius level intellect, I mean, this guy has no superpowers like Batman, and Guy Gardner even claimed that he's smarter than Batman, although nobody ever noticed, because again, he was a goofball in Justice League International with Booster. He owns and operates the Industrialist Core Industries, and I mean, he still has the time to try to do get-rich schemes, which is really fun. He creates advanced weaponry and equipment, and it's all Beetle themed, right? So he has his BB gun to blind villains with its strong light. He also has his airship, which is called the Bug, that he uses to kind of do all kinds of things. He's kind of DC's, I don't want to say he's DC's Spider-Man by any means, but considering that he was created by Steve Ditko, it kind of shows a little bit. I mean, he's arthropod themed. He's named after a bug. He has a lot of wit. He's acrobatic. The only difference is he doesn't have time for specifically superpowers. He's just a normal dude, and that's what really resonates with me. He's lighthearted. He's wisecracking. He's all about a guy who took the mantle of the Blue Beetle from the guy before him, who used the Blue Scarab. And he thought it was magic. He couldn't get it to work, so he used science. He used his brain. He learned martial arts. He decided, you know what, I'm gonna go with Martian Manhunter and Green Lantern and Batman and all these other characters, and I'm gonna fight them, and I'm going to help them, and I'm going to make sure that there's no evil in the world. And along the ways, that kind of resonated with Booster. And I always liked it because this is a character that was humanized. He had weight gain issues later in life. He was self-conscious. He was witty, but also awkward at times. He was never taken very seriously. And he also had a heart condition. But that never stopped him from doing his best and going out there. I mean, one of the first things he ever did was he went out and he got his ass almost destroyed by Doomsday, when even Superman got killed by Doomsday. And so, I mean, it's that kind of heart, it's that kind of determination that made him a character that I could really get behind. And so the toy really showcases all that. Because of the great movement, it's really true to the character. He can be acrobatic. He can do all kinds of different things. He can get ready to fight no matter what you have going on. This is a character that really comes to life because of the plastic mold. I mean, it looks like the character. The paint is really good. The detail in the suit is really good. The muscles are there. He's got the accessories. If only he had the Bug airship, which would be really sick. But he doesn't. And that doesn't really matter, though, because I have a Ted Kord, and this Blue Beetle is ready to fight. And then, of course, we have Mattel's DC Universe Classics Booster Gold action figure. Again, he's part of the same wave 7 of action figures with Blue Beetle, and which I didn't mention with Blue Beetle, but they both come with a piece of Atom Smasher, so they're part of the Build-A-Figure line of toys. But what Mattel does really well, again, specifically with this toy, is he has just the same amount of articulation as the Blue Beetle. He has a lot of movement, specifically in the neck, the shoulders, the waist, the legs, even ankle joints. So this is one of those toys that can be placed into a bunch of different variety of poses, which is perfect for the character. Again, I can't stress enough. No matter what you have Ted doing, not Ted, but Michael here, he's always ready to fight. He's always ready to showcase that in specifically the plastic. It's not just on the comic. Now you can actually physically have him do those things, whether it's using his Legionnaire ring to fly, whether he's using the power suit to shoot lightning or whatever out of his hands, or whether he's just kind of here and just doing his own thing. This is one of those characters that, again, is brought to life because of specifically, turning them into toys. Thank you, Mattel, for these awesome action figures. Because I got this on eBay, my toy doesn't come with Skeets, and Skeets is his 25th century historical security droid. Specifically, you place him back here, so he's kind of hovering over his shoulder. But that's okay. I needed Booster Gold, and that's kind of the most important thing. Another good aspect to this specific toy is the paint job. I mean, the different paints utilized, it's a real shine to the blue and gold. Again, homage to the characters, blue and gold adventures. And again, the goggles, you see real life in his face. That looks like Booster Gold, brought to life in plastic form. So it's all flash. And that's kind of what he's all about. You know, he wants to get rich. He wants to come up with a new scheme. He wants that gold persona to be the best that there ever was. And specifically with this character, for those of you that don't know, the reason I like Michael John Carter so much, or Booster Gold, is because, again, he's another hero that had no powers. He was a dude that was a gifted athlete. He was a football quarterback in Gotham. He was in the future, you know, in the 25th century Gotham City. And, you know, he threw one of his games. He bet against himself, and he got caught. He got disgraced, and so now he couldn't find work. And that really sucks. So he fell from grace because he deliberately lost his football games for money. And because of that reason, the only job you can get was to become a night watchman at the Metropolis Space Museum, specifically working in the Hall of Heroes. So because he's from the 25th century, he knew all the stories. He knew all the history of Superman and Martian Manhunter and Batman and Wonder Woman and the Justice League. And so what he did is he took a bunch of things from the museum. He took a flight ring. He took a power suit. In this case, he doesn't have the belt that comes from Brainiac 5, and he even stole Skeets the robot, but he went back in time to remake his place in history. He joined the Justice League of America International. You know, he met Blue Beetle, his best friend, and together they had all kinds of fun. And what I specifically like about Booster Gold is that he's a time travel character. He's a fun character that evolves throughout the years. Spoiler, I'm sorry, but in the comics, I mean, you have these two characters here that go on so many adventures. You know, they steal Martian Manhunter's cookies and they cause mayhem, but at the same time, you know, it's all in good fun, but they're still trying to do the right thing. They're trying to be heroes. Like, yeah, they might take it a little bit not as seriously at times, but they're there. They are the ultimate dynamic duo of just comedy, and people don't take them seriously. And because of that, we have the ultimate thing that happens in the OMAC project, Countdown to Infinite Crisis. And what happens is, you know, it ends with Ted Kord, you know, finding a conspiracy to destroy all metahumans, and it ends because nobody believes him. He gets killed by Maxwell Lord. So, you know, Ted the Blue Beetle dies, and Booster Gold can do nothing about it. His best friend is gone. And when I read it the first time, please check out that story. It was heartbreaking. You really grow to enjoy these characters, and you know you want to root for these characters, and the tone was so fun and exciting for so long that when it got so real so fast, it was a real shocker. And so, you know, Booster had his other adventures in New 52 Pickup, and specifically after the events of 52, which you should also check out. And in that, you know, he became a time traveling cop. Basically, he became a time cop. He wanted to change his character. He wanted to become a better person for Ted. He didn't want to be the laughing stock anymore. He did it for his best friend. And so after he saved the multiverse from Mr. Mind, he basically, you know, had to restore the timelines and help out. But that didn't stop him from, you know, being very sad about his best friend dying. And it really breaks your heart because these two have been through so much together. And I don't want to necessarily celebrate their shortcomings, but I want to celebrate who they were as characters, because everybody in life has friends. Everybody in life wants, you know, that companion or that friendship to last forever. And these two, specifically in comic books, you know, you got that. In some of these eras of specific big stories, you know, you have Batman and his brooding nature, these different stories where good characters get killed. Everything after Infinite Crisis got a little bit sharper in tone. But at the same time, you know, you always will have these stories where you can have a friendship like Ted and Michael's, and it really speaks to people because that's what real friendship is like. And these two, you know, they're not afraid to have these cool adventures because they're two best friends that just want the best for the world, but they also, you know, cheer each other on because they are best friends. And that's very important. And so that's my Booster Gold and Blue Beetle action figures by Mattel. Again, two characters that really bring out the best in each other. You have time traveling, you have science, you have martial arts, you have get rich quick schemes. You have it all with these two. And if you've never heard of these characters, if you've never picked up a comic book, please do yourselves a favor, check some of them out, because these two really exemplify the definition of friendship. And that's something that a lot of comics, you know, forget or they kind of gloss over. And it's very important that you find that passion in something that you enjoy. Like I said, for me, it's action figures. I like recreating stories, and specifically through toy photography, I get to express myself. And I love storytelling, and I think a lot of the stories with these two are worth telling again and again and again. So please, if anything else, if you're not going to pick up the action figures, at least please read one of the stories. They're pretty good, and you might learn a lot, or you might connect with new characters you never thought you would before today. So with that, please always remember that friendship is real, and even superheroes have best buds, and please always remember to enjoy the plastic.